Okay, we're going to use these devices, these clicker devices. Everybody should have one. They're often called audience response devices. They're called clickers, keypads, etc. The most common term is audience response devices, or ARS. I think if you say it, it sounds like a body part, and I don't think that's good. So I'm going to show you my fancy slide, my fancy transition. I want y'all to respond like you like it. Okay, that was okay. Thank you for that. I think a better name is speed polling to enhance input and knowledge, or speak. Right? So one of the things I'm trying to do is to rebrand these things. They can be phones, they can be these devices, but I think we need to call them what they do. And I will refer to these as keypads or speak devices. That's one of my goals. Core capabilities. You ask a multiple choice question, which we will do, and you instantly see the answer. Sometimes you can answer open-ended questions depending on the technology. They're anonymous. Anonymous use is desirable most of the time. And you get a pictogram of the summary of responses, a bar chart or pie chart, or a word cloud. That's the core capability. Ask a question, hear from the people, they enter it in, you see the collective answer. They're easy to use. I'll put up a question, you just put up the number or letter corresponding to your choice. Don't press go or anything else. Leave them here at the end. They don't work on your DVR at home. They won't open your garage door. If you make a mistake, just enter again. Basically, it's kind of like this. You can vote as often as you like, but we're not in Chicago, so only the last vote counts. All right. What did you do last night? You went to the biggest of the numerous Biltmores around. It seems like everything is named Biltmore. Number 2, craft brews or spirits, but only for the taste, of course. You enjoyed Asheville's fine cuisine, as we find. You checked out the music scene. Quiet night here at the hotel, or you're approaching it like Vegas, baby. What happened last night stays last night. Yep. What'd you do last night? Okay. Everybody get their vote in? We're going to move forward. All right, so the biggest one was Asheville's fine cuisine, and we got 3% of the people who don't want to talk about it. Okay, so you basically get the point. Ask a question, you weigh in, we see the result. That's the basic sequence of things. Which of these best describes where you work? Coastal North Carolina, Piedmont, or mountain/western? Which best describes where you work? Okay. All right. Piedmont's in the house. Very nice. All right. Which of these is closer to describing your level of experience with audience polling devices? Clickers fear me, for I am their master. You've planned some meetings where they were used. You've seen them used many times. You've seen them used a few times. Well, what is this thing with numbers on it? Which is closest to describing your experience with this kind of technology? Okay. All right. So 37% seen a few times, 29%, huh? What are you talking about? Very nice. Okay. So you guys need to know about it. Right? I'm in the right place. Okay, that is an experience question that I just did. Okay, that's it's hidden by the taskbar, but that was an experience question. So what I'm also doing is showing you different types of questions as we go through. Okay, there are 15 million speak devices used worldwide. What is the closest to the percentage that are used outside of K through 17 classrooms. So basically think of the world as they're used either in class from kindergarten to graduate school, or they're outside of that environment. Which is the closest percentage that is used outside of the classroom environment? The correct answer is 10%. So basically, the meetings market has not discovered these things. There's a lot of these things being used, but primarily in classrooms. So from the market standpoint of the people who make these devices, it's a growth opportunity, but of course they're also trying to do it in educational setting. But my point is, these could enhance meetings, and we're not using them to make meetings better. And that's what I'm trying to change. That was a fact question. Now, team competitions are a great way to add energy to a meeting, right? You were already on a team. The first question was worth 100 points. Let's see. The people from the Mountain Western are way ahead. They got it much more right than the other people. And I don't know what's up with the folks in Piedmont, who are the biggest group. All right. Okay, the next question is worth 150 points. That was worth 100 points. Okay. North Carolina's white folks people of color ratio by percentage is 64-36. You probably knew that. What's the closest for the ratio for the United States as a whole? Is it 70% white, 30% people of color, 60% white, 40% people of color, 50-50, or 40% white, 60% people of color? We know it is North Carolina. I figured y'all might have known that. What is it in the U.S.? The correct answer is number 2. So most of y'all got that correct. But almost half of y'all got that wrong. I would just point that out, right? Part of, let's see how that changes the, oh man, okay. So Piedmont got a little closer, very nice. Okay. So here's the point of that, right? So 2 things to remember. The competition can add energy to a meeting, right? It can be a slight break from the core of it, or also enhance the learning. That's number 1. Number 2, oftentimes asking fact questions will make people more open to new information, especially if most people get it wrong. They become more their minds open, they become open to hearing things that they didn't know before, and that is an important dynamic in a meeting. Which of these comes closest to describing your political ideology? Left, A, left or mostly left, B, lean left a little more than right, C, lean right a little more than left, that should be to left, so that's slightly right leaning, my bad. D, right or mostly right, or E, something else, none of these fit.
But that's a new description there. You can probably find those that lean right more right. You might create something new.
Well, that was intended to be lean right a little bit more than left. Which best describes you? Okay, so we're a little skewed to the left, but there's a fair amount of people who are not in that category. Okay, so there's diversity, ideological diversity in this room. Sometimes even establishing that in a meeting is actually useful, or establishing that isn't the case. That's an opinion question we just did. Okay, so each type of question reveals an aspect of diversity. Demographics reveal an aspect of identity diversity. Experience, diversity in one's life journey. Fact, diversity in knowledge. And opinion, diversity in perspective. So part of what you can do in a meeting is make good choices about which of these you use and when in order to enhance the purpose of the meeting. Okay. Think about all of the public meetings that happen in your jurisdiction. About what portion of them would you assess as very good? Vast majority, 75% or more. Most, 55 to 75%. About half, 40 to 55%. Some, but not most, 25 to 40%. A few, 10 to 25%. Or very few, less than 10%. Public meetings. Ooh, y'all having some bad meetings. Okay. All right, so we can see that very few of us, only what, 23%, it just goes down to even about half of them are very good. So there are a lot of bad meetings. So part of, you're reinforcing my mission, which is to make the world better, make meetings better, one keypad question at a time. That's what I'm trying to do. Because I believe that by engaging people more, we can make our gatherings more dynamic, more interesting, and more productive. And I think that's to be all of our goal. Can you make them shorter? Very good. How often do you personally have full or partial responsibility for a meeting that has 20 or more people? 1 or 3 times per year or less, 1 or 3 times per quarter, 1 or 3 times per month, or once a week or more. How often do you personally have full or partial responsibility for a meeting that has 20 or more people? Okay, so what we see is that maybe a quarter of y'all are having meetings pretty frequently. Then another quarter are doing it a few times a quarter, and then the rest only a few times a year. So I still feel like I'm talking to the right people. So the value of these devices, it starts at about 10 people. It really dramatically goes up at about 15 people. Because basically the impact starts to happen when you can't visually quickly assess where people are if you do an up, down, or that kind of thing. When the benefit goes up when you can no longer do that because there's too many people. Okay, you can put the devices down for a while. So we know there's a lot of bad meetings, and we know that a fair amount of y'all do a fair amount of meetings. So I'm talking to the right people. So my intention is to create more early adopters of this technology, which I think is transformative and really pushes meetings forward.